Hello and welcome. I hope my mic is working. I hope the game is working. It's been a long time. And welcome back to... Let me skip to a song with no lyrics. I didn't think about this. These won't have lyrics. Oh yeah. Alright. These should have a bit less. Hello and welcome back, everyone. I hope my compressor works perfectly. I don't see what I'm... Yeah, I have to be doing this quite a bit. So, welcome back. In case you haven't seen my video on what this whole thing is about, please go and watch it. It's in the description. Yeah, levels seem good to me. Let's start here. Rallycross, why not? Why is my mouse here? Wow. Tough choices. If you haven't seen my other video where I showcase all the cars this game has, try that too. It's on my channel. I have our Aussie actor, I forgot his name.
Looks like someone came to win today.
Narrate the whole thing. Because when you inspect the cars in the menu, he has some stuff to say about all of them. Alrighty. Let us switch to this one. Oh yeah. Now we gaming. Bet you don't see this on every stream, do you? Oh no. I have not clicked the correct depth buffer one. It's this. Alright. Minor hiccup happens. There we go. I hope I'm still louder than the gameplay. But if I'm somehow too quiet, let me know. Or too loud. I have a limiter on. I shouldn't be clipping much, but we'll see. Now we gaming. You don't see this every day, dude. I have a new mic, which I really like. New mic arm too. It's the Shure MV7K, which is the SM7B's USB cousin, and it's on the Elgato low profile mic arm, which is a amazing little thing. What else is new? My setup is a bit different than last time. Oh yeah, the headset is new. I have this Razer. I treated myself because I got, first of all, story time. I got a PS5 DualSense controller, and it has haptic feedback, but not every game supports it, obviously. But there's an application called DSX, DualSense X, and there's a paid DLC for it. I call it DLC because it's on Steam, so add-on that lets you convert basic rumble information from a game to haptic feedback, and it's amazing. It's so much more detailed. Like, once you try this, you can really not go back to just two motors spinning to tiny weights. Like, it's so much more detailed. Is the music too quiet? Let's learn. Let us continue. Land rush. Sure, why not? So, I got this little thing for myself. And I was like, this haptic feedback is amazing. I love it. I wish more of my stuff had haptic feedback. And then I looked, and then I found this little thing. I need to.
You didn't
Yeah.
put a single dent in the car
Oh, that's a
last
bit.
time. Now that's what I call clean driving.
So this is the Razer Kraken V3 Hypersense, and essentially, it has two haptic feedback motors inside that vibrate the headset in real time according to the bass of the game you're playing. So like, I've been testing it for horror games. It's incredibly amazing. For racing games, I don't think I would buy it solely. For music, it's great. Linus did a video on it a couple years back. Not this, but the other one that had haptic feedback back then. And he complained that this doesn't have a shortcut button to toggle the 3 levels of haptics. Well, this one does, so that one was wireless, this one is wired. And it's really good. Like, it's both a gimmick and like something that makes sense. I hope where we're headed we'll see more of these immersive options in like, for example, if they made a gaming mouse with haptic feedback that would move the mouse like up and down, it wouldn't disturb the precision that much, especially on a heavier one. And there are some stuff like that I heard, but those are not exactly from the most well-known and reputable companies, so I didn't really look into it. But like, wouldn't it be great? Because when I'm playing the Division 2, for example, on controller, every gun just feels great because the way they implemented the rumble slash haptics, it's so immersive, it's so good, and you just don't get that from audio alone. But I like to aim in that game with a mouse and keyboard, and then I just lose all the immersion and haptics and everything, you know? And so now with this headset I get some of that feedback back with these vibrations and whatnot. So alrighty. On to rally now. Livery doesn't really matter for us, does it? Should I have this closer?
Rally
I don't know.
absolute.
Now, I don't know if the trees show up in the depth buffer. Some of them do. That's alright. Should I be racing like this? Is it more enjoyable? I wish I could mute the co-driver, but the lowest it goes is 50%. I actually found a thing on Steam today. Oh, the flickering is real bad. Wow. I actually found a plugin, but I haven't had time to test it, where it's splitting the co-driver and other voices into a different output device, which means I could get clean audio from this game. And back to immersion, you could probably put the co-driver onto your controller's speaker if you're using a PlayStation controller. Um, like Death Stranding does stuff like that, and it can be immersive or just, you know, different. Like sometimes all you need is just a little shake up from uh, what you usually have, because yeah, like this, like this is exactly what I'm talking about. Playing with just the outlines of the game. Yeah, the flickering is real bad, but not much I can do about it. It's the LOD switching. So for the uninitiated, LOD stands for level of detail, and basically the game has like low resolution, medium resolution, high resolution versions of both these shapes and textures, but textures don't affect us right now. So they have like a very blocky tree, a mostly fine tree, and a very detailed tree. And as you get closer, it switches up, and the further something is, the shittier quality it is. And so this is a gaming called LOD, level of distance, no, level of detail, what am I saying? And it keeps changing as you approach stuff. And normally you're not supposed to see it because it's like seamless, but it depends on the implementation. Like in open world games, if you're driving a fast vehicle, it's really visible. Like in earlier patches of Cyberpunk, the pop-in of objects and LOD popping as well, like this, but like with textures and lighting and everything, you understand what I'm saying, was particularly bad. I remember playing and just being like, oh wow. Thankfully most of the game is not you blazing through heavily detailed areas. It's like you stealthing in a building and killing people and talking to people and stuff. Love that game. I don't know why the wheel doesn't turn. I think it's on a different depth buffer. If you haven't watched my video, which you should, it's in the description, I'm using a program called Reshade, and it basically hijacks data from the game before it's being rendered and stuff, and changes stuff in the render pipeline, and can show you a different result without changing the game itself. And what it uses is called the depth buffer, which essentially tells the game where certain stuff are in 3D space. Like if you Google depth map, you'll understand. It's a black and white representation of how far stuff are from the camera or your view or whatnot.
Okay,
And
keep it smooth and steady, just like the last race.
and so this takes that information, and in that depth buffer thingy, there's these vertices, which what make up your game. So like these are the shapes and polygons and 3D stuff in your game, and this gets lighting and textures and shadows and whatnot later, but not this time, because I'm using only the outlines. Again, watch my actual video on this. This is supposed to be a complimentary stream for that one, where I do a little bit of a more in-depth explanation and a little bit of a more comprehensive showcase as well. I show a lot of games, but yeah, I thought it would be fun to just try it out and give it a bit more time to shine, because it's a really cool concept. I'm very proud of it. Not that I invented this or anything, but haven't really seen this around much. Even though it's a built-in filter in reshade. It's called mesh edges because it's showing you the edges of the mesh. I don't know why my microphone shows up as mono. I really hope I'm not in mono. I'll test this in a second. Flickering is not that bad. Thankfully not everything is flickering, and the flickering stuff are a bit far. I forgot that I have this. Oh yeah. Wow, the wheel went on its own way, seems like. Me too. What happened to the steering wheel? Wow. It has a mind of its own. Where was I? Oh yeah. Other than the technical stuff, I think it's really fun to strip down, especially an older game, to its basics like that, and just look at the shapes of it instead of being distracted by maybe the textures or the lighting or the shadows or the ambient gloom being a bit dated by today's standards. Which again, I illustrate very nicely in my video, so click the description if you haven't. But yeah, and the good thing is you can try this for yourself. It's free. You shouldn't use it in games that have anti-cheat, because it might pick it up as you trying to gain an unfair advantage. But in older and offline titles, it should work in most games. Maybe there are some where it just doesn't, like where there's like absolutely no depth buffer access. But I tried it in many games. It works in Doom Eternal, Control, heaps. I wanna do the Stratos, even though it's very difficult to control.
That was a great last race.
Was it? Alrighty. Let us go. Another cool info, the Dirt Free lore video came to be because I have a long list of videos I wanna make. It's a whole spreadsheet, and amongst them is a video that have been there for a long time, and it's called Try All the Cars in Dirt Free, because I've played this game since I wanna say a couple years after it came out, first on 360 and then on PC, and I don't know how many hours, but my memory says it's a lot, and I still was sure that I haven't driven all of the cars. Like, I didn't go out of my way to try all of them, because many times in rally especially it gives you the option to do Super 2000 or modern class or something like that, or open class, and I would just go with the most modern one, like or when it gave me the option for 90s and Group B, I would always choose Group B or something like that. So I went back and tried all the cars, and there were definitely stuff that I didn't remember driving. Like the Toyota Tacoma Pikes Peak or the Escort Can Block Edition, to say a couple, or the Mustang for that matter. So it's nice that I was able to try them, and I just like wanted to get it done. So to get two things out of the way, I decided to combine this idea of like showcasing all the cars with descriptions, audio descriptions that you can check in the menu, and I recorded some gameplay, and I don't know why, but Dirt 3 only has a couple of locations, and so I had to really try my hardest to not have the same country after each other in the editing. I had a whole spreadsheet of how to record stuff, and it was like, alright, let's do let's say Fiesta RX, one of them, in Kenya, or actually that's not a thing without mods, but you understand what I'm saying. And let's do the other one in Finland, just so they don't repeat after each other. I wanted some variety, but boy, this game doesn't have a lot of countries or environments. But I remember when this game came out, I was so incredibly blown away. We have a town in Hungary near a big lake. It's kind of like a beach town. It's kind of our version of Venice Beach. And I remember all the touristy shit, people selling baseball caps and stuff, and inflatable swans and whatnot. And I remember they had a dirt-free motion rig set up, and you would like climb into this huge hydraulic seat with a racing wheel and everything on. And it was very expensive, but I don't remember if I tried it or not. I was like still very young, but I was amazed by that. I was absolutely blown away. And yeah, later I remembered that one and just looked it up, like, wow, does Dirt 3 have motion data? And turns out, yes, it does. Codemasters games just do that. And they also have a bunch of other telemetry data. Like, one of them, there's an app, I don't remember what it is. And you can send data from the game to your smartphone or tablet, and it actually shows you the revs and the speed and everything, and it's off screen, so you can put it wherever you want. And so when I had my racing wheel out, which I don't use much, I just put my iPad there, and it had the rev counter and the speedo and everything. It was great. So yeah, turns out Codemasters are very good about this kind of stuff. They just give you telemetry and stuff. I say stuff quite a bit, but hey,
No one doubts your skill.
there was some other thing. Oh yeah, something I didn't really expect to see. I was playing the Summit yesterday in the Crew 2 and Motorfest. And in Motorfest, I went into the options and it says third party, where you see like Tobii eye tracking and whatnot. And they have some sort of a haptic feedback vest. I don't remember the name of it, but if you own the game and just go into the menu, you'll see. If people keep asking, I'll put a pinned comment I'll look it up and put it in the comments. But point is, there's like a haptic feedback vest, which usually for VR, obviously, which the Crew Motorfest doesn't support. But it supports this vest, so very interesting. I want to say it's a bold statement, but I own most of the racing games that are out there, and I don't really see this kind of option anywhere. Especially the first place I would look is serious simulators, which is not exactly my number one genre, but I would look for it in like ACC or something. But I don't really remember seeing it anywhere else. And apparently it's for VR games, which yes, that's what haptic vests are designed for, at least right now. So I was very surprised. This was yesterday. I'm like, wow, the Crew Motorfest supports haptic feedback vest. Wow. Who'da thunk? What I like about this game is it has some random dudes running in front of your car back to safety. One of the only rally games I can think of doing that. But if you compare this to real life, especially before the 2000s, I mean, I don't want to bring up like Group B for everything, but yeah, if you look up Group B footage, it's just crowds instead of trees or barriers or whatnot. But even today, it's rally fans are built different. They just really want to get close to those cars. I've only been to a couple rallies, and I only remember being next to the service area, or just seeing a corner from at least 30 meters or something. Like you can put a residential building between me and the car is where I was standing, and the service area is more fun anyway, because you would see more different cars and more people and mechanics and everyone just tinkering, and different different groups of cars, like based on their engine size, would come in, and you would hear them from very close. It was very fun. Alrighty. And apparently some form of rally is going to take place in Hungary. My mom told me about this actually. She was like, "You're into rally?" I'm like, "Hell yeah." There's some shit going down. I'm like, I'll look into it, but I still haven't. So either ERC or WRC. I would be surprised if WRC would have any involvement, because I would know about it if from nowhere else, from their social media or something. So I think it's like I don't know if it's FIA or something, but I may go. Depends. I'm not into F1, but we have a F1 circuit, the Hungaroring, and therefore I know it's actually not that far from where I live, and been there a couple times for the touring car championship. But it's gonna be easier while driving to remember. And that was heaps of fun. They had some Lotus Cup before and shit. But I remember even that one was very crowded and somewhat on the pricey side even back then. And from what I heard, F1 tickets are extremely expensive. And so I don't know if, like obviously, WRC will have less of a fan base and crowd and whatnot than fucking Formula One, but still, I don't know if you can just go to the forest and see the cars for free, or if there's gonna be like dedicated parts and they close the nearby streets so you cannot approach the road for safety. Also, I'm extremely doubtful that any stuff is coming to here, so I think it's just European Championship or something, which is still really cool. But those are usually around here in Central Europe, other than obviously Finland, Norway, Sweden. The central ones are Germany, Slovakia, Slovenia, maybe Poland, Czech Republic, and us. So I'll look into it, what it is. Maybe if it's not super expensive and crowded, and I'll go. Maybe I'll do some vlog for the second channel, but no promises. And I mean, I'll take photos at least if I go, or video or something. Maybe I'll cut it into some sort of a voiceover and travel footage kind of video on the second channel, which if you haven't, subscribe to my second channel. I'm planning to do a lot more with that this year. Last year I put one video there. It's a good video. It's very scientific. I scientifically figured out if you should microwave or grill your leftover McDonald's cheeseburger, and if you should leave the wrapper on it or not. And if you're curious, you need to watch the video on my second channel, or the short one. I made a short about it. Speaking of shorts, I make a bunch of shorts out of my long form content, just cut it down to 1 minute or less chunks, so it reaches more people, and some people are finding my channel that way, and they get nice-ish views. I say nice-ish. It's not like the views they get are fine if they were long form content, but for shorts you need like, I don't know, 3 million for something to be considered viral or whatever. If you just look at the eligibility for monetization on shorts, it's like astronomical compared to the 4,000 hours on long form content. But what I'm trying to say is I've been debating if I should make dedicated shorts on the same thing, but I decided that I'll probably just make a playlist called dedicated shorts for the videos that I specifically recorded as shorts, and so they don't get buried under the 5, 10, 15 video shortified videos that I publish weekly. So, and I can just pin that playlist onto my homepage. And also, I don't think most people find shorts through people's homepage like their channel page. I think you just find it in your homepage, browse feed, or in your shorts feed. But I don't know. I don't usually, if I go to someone's channel, I am there usually for their long form content, which is an interesting thing. How like people gave YouTube shit for separating the algorithm for shorts and long form content when they rolled it out, but I think they were completely right to do so, because people's viewing habits are not really overlapping. There are channels that I only watch their shorts, and there are channels that I only watch their long form content, and it happens to my channel too. Like there are people who only watch my shorts or only watch my long form content, so the overlap isn't really huge, and there's even types of content that I'm fine with when it comes to shorts. There's this I'm not gonna remember names. There's this lawyer guy who's really cool. Not legal, though he's really cool too. Another one, I'm pretty sure people have seen him. He's blowing up recently, at least for sheesh. At least on my shorts feed recently. There's some. What else is there? There's this other guy called Woke Karen, who's like watching cooking videos and talks about social injustice in the background, which very Subway Surfers, well, politics vibes, and makes sense. And he brings up some cool stuff that I agree with usually, so I subscribe to him too, but I haven't watched a single one of his videos, if he even has some. I'm sure he does, but I've seen like at least 20 of his shorts. So yeah, it's an interesting phenomenon to have YouTube post short and long form content, but personally I'm glad it's in one place, because Instagram I don't really use for this. I use Instagram for like updates on my family and friends and brands and companies and celebrities and whatnot, like what I mentioned about the WRC, for example. I follow FIA, WRC, drivers, companies, like car brands and their racing teams and whatnot. So I'm up to date on that front. I follow Sam Lake and Remedy and Alan Wake game itself. They have a separate account. But that's what I use Instagram for personally. But people watch a bunch of reels there, which I just don't. Like my girlfriend does this. She watches this kind of short form content there, I think more than YouTube Shorts. Other people prefer TikTok still. But yeah, I'm glad we have options, definitely. I really don't consume reels at all. I just check posts and sometimes stories, but yeah. But they're definitely easier to share than YouTube Shorts. Something that annoys me about Shorts is that you have to, if you find like a cool short on your YouTube homepage, on desktop for example, and it's like this, I want to watch that later, you have to click into it and then add it to your playlist. You cannot just because it doesn't have the three dots, or the three dots, it has only shows the option to report, or share maybe, but you cannot just do what you do with a normal video, which is just click on the three dots, add to watch later, and you watch it later. And the funny thing is, when you actually click the short, you can add it to a playlist, even your watch later. This is what I do. But why do I need to click the short in the first place? That's just minor annoyance. But yeah, I'm planning to do a lot more, especially in the second channel, which is the way it is right now. The main channel is the gaming and gaming adjacent channel, and the second channel is personal and food and vlogs and God knows, whatever I feel like. And I don't know what the VOD channel, the Borderlands Live, will be for, if YouTube streaming will be more successful than Twitch streaming, because I'm an affiliate on Twitch. I am monetized on YouTube, so I'll see which one makes more sense. But like, if I stream here and I just keep the VOD on the same channel and it doesn't bother anyone because it's in a different tab, then I might not end up using the VOD channel that much. We'll see. Stay tuned and subscribe to all of this, or don't. No, please do. I need more subscribers. Plus, I really I watch a lot of Dark. Wow, my mouth just didn't cooperate. Dark Viper AU's content, Meto, and he says his content is exactly what he would watch, and I kinda sorta agree with mine. Like, some people make some videos and they're like, oh, that's cringe, I don't want to rewatch my stuff, and I am very critical with anything I create, but not to such a unhealthy level. Like, I do have maximalist, or my Hungarian confused me, that's how we say it there. Perfectionism definitely has a role in my ways of thinking about my own content, but I do enjoy my own videos. Like, I rewatch them sometimes and I never feel like it's a chore or I wanna skip it. I just, yeah, that's good shit. Like, I just stick there and keep watching. Like, for example, the Ball in Sky puzzle games. I just started that and I just forgot about what I was doing and just finished the whole video. And I think that's really healthy. And where I'm going with this is, check out more of my content. It's really good. Yeah, something in stark contrast with this Dark Viper and me being happy to rewatch our previous videos that we made and stuff, is I've been watching Digital Spaghetti, which is Jack Conte's, Patreon's founder and CEO's new channel, where he interviews creators about their process, like Casey Neistat. For example, we learned that he edits and I think shoots partially in a linear fashion, like he has everything planned, and he starts with the beginning and in the timeline and just ends with the end, and by the time he uses the last clip he needs to use, he's done. And Jack was like blown away by this because it's such an unusual approach to video editing, and it certainly is, but I've done similar before. if I have something that is very linear by nature, like if I have a shoot where it's let me adjust my AC. Like if I have a shoot where it's something linear about it, like let's say when I used to shoot events, the footage would be necessarily chronologically in order. Like you would start in the morning and you would end in the evening. Oh, thank you very much. I'm sorry if I'm missing some important chat. Alrighty, where was I? Yes, so you edit in chronological order sometimes because unless you're doing a montage, the stuff you need to edit are recorded chronologically and they need to be edited chronologically. So that's just a circumstance of how some of these shoots go. I'm gonna repeat myself because it's a live stream and people drop in and out, but if you haven't seen the full video on this effect, it's in the description. I encourage you to go and check it out because I talk about this more in detail. I show more games and I make more sense because I have a written script and I'm not just rambling while trying to drive a car very fast. So but yeah, this is a great effect. And all right, a little bit of a I think it doesn't count as bragging if you're just proud of something, so let's stick with my logic there. But I'm very proud that some of my videos are very unique in terms of their idea. Like this one, games with no graphics. There's one where I did about vertical gaming on a vertical monitor. I couldn't find anything about these. The only thing I was able to find is Linus made a video a couple years ago about a monitor that advertises itself as a gaming theater when you flip it vertically, and they have like a less than 1 minute segment on it. And recently 2 Clicks Flip had a video that jokingly mentioned vertical gaming, but that's it. And I was very surprised that not more people talked about it. That was another thing. I'll try to remember that I was proud that I came up with. But yeah, sometimes I just have an idea. Well, yeah, comparing stuff to real life thing, like not comparing one game to another, but for example, the Grid Legends city tour. I think it's a really unique, cool idea, and I don't remember. I watch a shit ton of YouTube, unhealthy amount, and I don't remember seeing anything like this. And I think I'm the perfect audience for this. So if it exists, I think I would have I would have found it by now. Is what I'm saying. So watch that too. Watch all my videos. Why not? But yeah. I really like this idea of being able to make videos that just don't exist. Like for example, if you make videos about, let's say, title updates in R-Factor 2, then your content is going to be factored around that one, and maybe sometimes you'll do a video about comparing it to the first version of the game that it came out and how handling was different or whatever. But it doesn't change much, and also you are competing with other people making videos on that one game, or this cyclical style news update focused video. Whereas I really enjoy finding ideas that are completely unique because there's no competition when it comes to something like this, where it's there's not many videos or live streams you're gonna find with outline gaming. I think it's very cool. But yeah, not really meaning it as bragging, more like being proud of something I came up with, which I think is healthy to a level. Trying to
I'll tell you to be careful out there.
see stuff. Oh no, it's dark. Oh no, it's not. Day and night doesn't matter. Let us go. I said let us go. They're not really cooperating. This will make a bit more sense. What still is interesting to me is what I said in the video as well, is this really shows how much tiny detail is in certain games. When I played Control and Red Dead 2 like this, my mind was blown by the tiny clutter and the tiny details on houses and interiors and whatnot. It was just so cool to see all the things because they're like literally outlined for you. They're literally as if you put a circle around it, like look at me, look at all this detail. Because if you see like a nicely textured wall like this on the side, you don't really think twice about it because our brains are like, yep, that's a barrier and that's a fence and that's a person or whatever. And we're really good at finding problems, like the lighting being off or the shadows not being right or whatever. But like this, it's so different from reality with the outline that it looks like a data terminal from a 90s sci-fi movie. So you don't exactly make these comparisons in your head because it's so much more removed from reality. You're able to appreciate the tiny details instead of being distracted by the flaws. So I think it's really nice to replay your favorites like this because it just makes you appreciate it so much more. I'll put it back to the other view. Because why not? We're beekeepers now. Sorry if it's nauseating or motion sickness inducing. It will be over very soon. That's always interesting to me that they went with the choice of not removing the mesh in cockpit view. What was more interesting to me is when they keep the front pillar of the halo in F1 cars. I don't know what game was it that made it transparent. Was it F1? Probably, but that makes sense to me. And I remember playing it in another game. It wasn't the Shadow Corsa, I think, because I remember it as being like an official, like the game just had modern F1 car with the halo and everything. And it wasn't see-through, and I was like, oh no. So I moved it to the, what is it called, pole,
There's something about
the top one, the camera on top of the halo. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, should be something that is always an option, because why is it not? Like, I understand some people are some people prefer the actual vision F1 drivers have. Some even 3D printed a pair of glasses that restrict your vision, basically giving yourself a black bars in real life to what the helmet does, which I think is hilarious. I can't say I hate it, but it's such a, like, at that point a helmet would be more immersive, I think, like just getting an actual helmet and modifying that one instead of these like restrict your vision to squinting level glasses. But to each their own, I guess. But I just don't understand why it's not standard that the F1 car's halo has an option to be see-through, because I just can't get used to it. It's just so much in my vision. But I guess pushing that logic a bit further, why is this car's certain parts, why aren't they see-through? And I guess I can just do this and then everything is see-through and I'm the floor. But yeah, there's just something about, like, I like seeing the steering wheel, and that halo being in your face is just so weird to me. And it's just something that again, I think it's the F1, the official game, that makes it transparent partially, and that's such a thing that I was like, yep, that's what I want. So interesting that hasn't been something that's become the norm or the standard. Alrighty. Ouch, I guess. What I'm bummed out about is the performance in EAWRC. Now it's better a bit, but at one point I had to uninstall the game because I was so upset. I was... Okay, first of all, you had to crank the... You had to turn car reflections all the way down because they were eating up like some ridiculous amount of performance. Like, you would never expect such a thing. And some stages just had like utter horseshit optimization. Like, you would approach a corner having 98 FPS and then it would dip into the low 40s, and then it's just you miss the corner because the lag spikes, and then the FPS is back and now you're crashed. Like, and it happened like 7 times. So I just became so upset that I had to uninstall it. Now apparently it's better. Another complaint I heard is that the moments, which are these daily challenges slash like additional challenges, are is that they messed up a real world driver's nationality. I think they mixed up Sweden with Norway or Finland, and that is definitely something that is infuriating. I saw this on Reddit, on the game's official subreddit, and someone said like this would have been a perfect opportunity to learn some, because these daily challenges are like, let's say, one stage Finland S2000 cars, and it says real or fictional, and it would have been a good platform, I agree with this comment, to learn about lesser known parts of rally history. And apparently, at least judging from this mistake, it's possible that there is not that much care that goes into it as we would have hoped. Though I don't wanna. It's not something I'm super confident in. Haven't really checked those in a couple of weeks. But you would think that people making these daily challenges or weekly, or I don't know how frequent new ones are, seasonal. That, like, how does it happen to that you mix up a driver's nationality? Like, this to me screams no research went into it, but obviously that cannot be the case because they had to know some details. It's just maybe it's a data thing. Maybe someone clicked the wrong thing. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, it's from visually, from other than the handling, I haven't really been happy with WRC, EAWRC. Handling is great. Handling is the only thing I can definitely say is improvement from Dirt Rally 2.0, which I already thought was really good. They improved it. Some say it became a bit easier, but I think it's the same thing that happened with going from Dirt Rally 1 to Dirt Rally 2. It became more forgiving because the bullshit went away. Like Dirt Rally 1 was literally, and I'm not memeing, the Dark Souls of rally games, because it was so incredibly unforgiving, and that had some appeal and charm of its own, it being so difficult to play. And like, it wasn't that bad. I finished the whole thing multiple times, but it's really unforgiving. And the reason I realized is it's not very realistic in some tiny aspects. Like, your car slips a bit too easy, it understeers a bit too easy, your brakes are not as effective on loose sand as in real life, stuff like that. And that makes it a really challenging video game, but it doesn't make it very realistic or very fun in traditional sense of fun, not like if you enjoy hardcore challenges, of course. So yeah, that was the thing going from Dirt Rally 1 to Dirt Rally 2.0. And now people are complaining that EAWRC is too easy and too simplistic or something compared to Dirt Rally 2. But I think the same thing is happening, where the game became more realistic, and these cars stop easier and understeer less than in the previous games. So yes, it's easier, but it's also more realistic, because guess what? These professionally made off-road monster rally cars are not as easy to spin out as we were led to believe. At least that's my understanding of what's happening, because I personally I really like the new handling, but other than that I'm not very happy with the graphics or the audio, or I really hate the campaign. I mean, we do have a campaign, which is compared to Dirt Rally 2, it's something, but boy, um, and the difficulty is weird too. It's the same thing as in Grid Legends or Grid 2019, I don't know which one has it, where it's like easy and medium and hard are too easy, and very hard is impossible. So you're just either first place or last place all the time. And of course I'm exaggerating, but one of these games was like this, and I think that was before they updated the AI. I had that experience in EWRC as well, where it's like, alright, if I put it to this, I'm always guaranteed to win by like beating everyone by 12 seconds to a minute, guaranteed. And if I put it to the next one, I'm almost never first place, as hard as I can try. And that's a bit of a... that's not what you want. You want more granularity when it comes to difficulty. That was one more thing I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, the Unreal Engine 4, not 5. So apparently the reason they went with Unreal Engine in general is the Ego engine, their proprietary one, that this game and Dirt Rally 2 and Grid Legends and all the other ones run on, doesn't handle longer than 10-kilometer tracks very well. So they went to Unreal Engine, but people suspect that the actual reason is so they have more talent to work on such a big licensed franchise, or maybe this is something that the license holders of the FIWRC franchise have specifically requested, because the previous games have been on Unreal Engine. So, but yeah, and it's not even Unreal Engine 5, which has cool stuff like Nanite and Lumen and built-in hardware and software ray tracing and all these cool new features. It's just Unreal Engine 4, which yeah, questionable choice all around, and I've left people scratching their heads, me included. But yeah, maybe later they can maybe they can port it later to UE5. We don't really know, but the result is that it looks worse to me than Dirt Rally 2.0 did, and I think it's because the obvious answer is they're less familiar with the engine than their own proprietary one. And the other thing I'm suspecting is, let's do it the Bowler Nemesis. My other suspicion is that it's too dynamic, like
You raced a clean line.
day and night time everything is dynamic, and so there's a lot less hand tuning that you can do. So if you can change, um, so like I don't think it's you can change the exact hour, like you could in I don't know, Assetto Corsa or BeamNG Drive. But I think it's less hand tuned. So another thing is these are real life locations compared to completely fictional layouts, which I understand leads to less creative freedom. But at the same time, don't tell me that you cannot dress up a nice corner with trees and rocks and whatnot to look better than how it does. Like in some scenes, WRC Generations, even to my eye, looks better than EWRC, let alone Dirt Rally 2.0. And sure, sometimes it looks good, but that's the kind of randomness you get if you don't hand place your lights and you don't hand place your props, and you're just going with a general vibe of the terrain, trying to make it look as close to real life as possible. But I don't know, I really feel like that game needed a lot more time in the oven, and certainly not alone. Like I saw people on Reddit complain about the visuals. Digital Foundry definitely mentioned that it doesn't really look better than Dirt Rally 2.0. If anyone joined the chat and is very confused, I'm not playing Dirt EWRC, I'm playing Dirt Free. I'm just complaining about EWRC. So yeah, it's an interesting game. Another game I got super upset with was Dakar Desert Rally, made by Saber Interactive, Saber Porto to be specific, which is a game I have a love-hate relationship because I like the concept a lot. The handling is infinitely better than Dakar 2018, the previous game. I like the map, I like the car roster, I like the graphics when they're maxed out. It's just the bugs and the decision to separate the gameplay styles, which I'll explain in a second, and the utter lack of optimization on PC is just at one point they abandoned development on it, and now they came back to do bug fixes. I don't know, it sounds like they were afraid of like a class action lawsuit or something, because they declared that there will be no future updates including bug fixes, and then they came back and said hey, new update fixing these bugs, because literally half of the rallies are not finishable on PlayStation. It was a shit show. But my biggest problem is that I have like 40 FPS on PC, and it's not a buttery smooth 40. It's like a choppy mess, and I have a powerful rig. I have a 3070, and whatever I do, DLSS, low settings, on the lowest, it looks like absolute ass, and I can play it, and it still has some loading and shader compilation stutters, and but it's not just shader compilation, because it doesn't just happen the first time you see an object or something. It happens every time you go to that corner, and yeah, it's just infuriating. So that's also something I just went and uninstalled. And if they patch it, I'll go back and I'll be happy to play more of that game. and maybe make videos on it. But in its current state, it's just I cannot like publish a YouTube video with ultra low settings, 40 to 70 FPS jumping around. Like I could lock it to 30, I guess, and triple buffer, and maybe it would be smooth, but it wouldn't be fun to play like that. Like if I absolutely had to record some footage, I would probably set it to like high preset and lock it to 30. Maybe change my display to from 160 to 30 or something, and VSync it to 30 or something. I don't know. But it's such a mess when it comes to optimization. And the problem is, it's like there's a good game underneath somewhere. Like the handling is good, or like it's not amazing, but it's we don't have enough racing games. Like there's not much competition when it comes to rally raid and orienteering or whatever it's called games. Like that's what we get. We got Dakar 18, which is not the best, and Dakar Desert Rally, which is good in some aspects and not so good in others, and it's really making me angry sometimes because I just want to play it, but like not in this current state. Upsetting. What isn't upsetting is playing games like this.
You didn't put a single
There's another game I've been playing that is not very well known, or like if you own a Switch and you're addicted to racing games, you probably know it. It's the husk of a studio that's left from Eden Software, the people who made Test Drive Unlimited 1 and 2 back in the day. But from what I remember, it's mostly the name, like the talent has left, so they have the name Eden's Games, but it's not the same people there who made Test Drive Unlimited. And they made a game called Gear Club Unlimited, or I think, and there's a second one, and they're both out for Switch, and there's a third one called something Italian, and it's for Apple Arcade. Like it's an Apple Arcade exclusive. But the second one is for PC. I think it's Gear Club Unlimited 2. And it doesn't even have built-in controller support, which I was like, what? It gives you like keyboard bindings. Or like it didn't the first time I booted it up. With Steam input it works, but I had to tinker with it. But despite all this sounding like a asset flip or like a cash grab, I finished the whole thing because it's just fun. It's just what I want from an arcade racer. It's what I wish the Need for Speed franchise would be right now. It's just driving, upgrading, like jumping into one race, then the next one, then the next one. Not really driving around in the open world and trying to find stuff to do. Like the Crew 2 is very good in this regard, is you can choose all the races from a drop-down menu instead of the map. I prefer a list, I think it's cleaner and you can go in order. As in a map, they're gonna be next to each other, above, below, um, diagonally or whatnot. Difficult to keep track of what you have or haven't completed. And yeah, it has upgrading cars both internally and externally. It's not very detailed, but it has like body kits and stuff, and it has licensed cars. And it has like the cars look really good. The environments look perfectly fine, serviceable on max settings, but the cars look really good. Now granted, they all sound like different versions of blenders and lawnmowers and whatnot, but it's kind of fun to play, and it's definitely fun enough to make me finish it. And it even has some expansions because it's the ultimate version or whatever. Complete edition, I don't remember. It has like a Le Mans 24 mode and a Porsche expansion, which are not something I expected from such a game. It's such a weird AA thing. The whole AA scene is a dying breed, it seems like, or it seemed like that for a bit. Maybe now it's coming back, but yeah, if it ever happens to be on sale, give Gear Club Unlimited a try. If you're into this kind of just doing dumb arcadey races, upgrading my car, like it has an open world style map with the roads and stuff connected, but doesn't have free roam or race customization. You can only do the races that are there. It has so many weird choices, but still, it's fun. And like, it has so many reasons why you shouldn't like it, but it's fun. What can you do? Alrighty, nighttime. Let us. Also, coming back to this game, Dirt 3, for a second, I think it runs at 30 FPS on the 360. Maybe it's... I don't think it's 60. I'm fairly certain it's 30. And I remember playing it... I had a laptop back in the day, but on PC you can turn down the settings lower than the 360. Like you can turn shadows to like ultra low or whatever. And I managed to put it to 60 FPS, and I was so happy because especially compared to something that is like TVs, we had a very old TV, and the response time on that one with the combination of 30 FPS is just awful. And like you had to predict the corners, and like the input lag was awful. So the first time I played this with a 360 controller on a laptop, PC version, I was like, oh, this is a different game. Like, and now I'm playing at 165, and I actually locked it, so it's smoother for the video and for OBS as well. And also I set it to ultra low because maybe the LODs popping because of that, but I didn't want shadows and whatnot because they're not visible anyway, and it's buttery smooth, so no complaints there. I just wish Dirt 2 was more accessible. Like, I know why it's not. I know it's the music licensing and the talent licensing and the car licensing and the brands licensing why it's in this hell that it is in right now. And it's not impossible to make it work. But getting around the stupid games for Windows Live thing is a nightmare. And it's such a fun game otherwise. And like Dirt 1 is essentially abandonware. It's very easy to get running. It runs really well on modern systems. Dirt 3 is on Steam, and even though it's delisted, it's on those sketchy gray market key stores. You can still buy a Steam key. But Dirt 2 is in this weird purgatory of a limbo, I should say, of this licensing limbo where it's because it has Ken Block and Tanner Faust, I think. All these brands from DC to just like this game, but some different ones too, Monster Energy to whatever. All these cars and all this music, it would be probably too much work for whoever owns it right now. I guess EA, compared to what they would see in return. Though I think there would be enough interest if they scrubbed the licensing and the music and the audio. Like, for example, what happened with... Oh, it's Gymkhana. I'll not do that right now. Like, what's it called? Why am I blanking on this? Death Stranding removed the Monster Energy drink, added some generic energy drink stuff in there, because in the my mind. So Death Stranding, in the director's cut, they removed the Monster Energy sponsorship and they added some generic energy drink, and I think they added more music and stuff. They added crazy amounts of stuff, but like, would it be that difficult, like, to bring back Dirt 2 without the licensing stuff they lost? Like, replace some things with generic brand names, like, I don't know, Gear Up Oil or whatnot. Like, games do this all the time. They do this when they have to get around like iconic Group B liveries, such as the Marlboro white and red, I think. They just, or the Martini one is the white, red and blue. There's one where it just says racing instead of Martini, which advertising alcohol is banned in some countries and whatnot, and it just says racing, but the same livery and colors are intact. So, like, don't tell me that it would be impossible to have the most of the cars intact. You wouldn't have to touch the physics, you wouldn't have to touch the, like, they would have to change the DRM out if they're able, but other than that, like, the levels are there, the co-drivers are there, and it's like a game that was out at one point. Like, you don't have to like relicense every single thing for it. So yeah, I don't understand fully, but I guess it's not worth it for them. Maybe one day when it's retro enough or nostalgic enough, they'll dig it out and they'll put it on EA Play as a EA Play exclusive or something. Because I don't see any other reason why it would be worth anyone's time, which is a shame because it's a fun game. Dirt 1 as well. And interestingly enough, they don't make each other completely redundant. Like, just because you have Dirt 3 doesn't mean you shouldn't play Dirt 1 and 2. Because they're different enough. And yeah, it's a shame that 2 is difficult to play. What is interesting is I forgot the studio that ported it. Was it Sumo Legion? I don't want to say stuff I'm not certain about. I bought a PSP and there's a, I don't want to say port because it's a different game, but there's a game called Dirt 2 for the PSP, and it's obviously a very simple game compared to the full-fledged Dirt 2, and obviously the handling and everything is different down to the music and everything. It's a different game, which was common. Like if you play Need for Speed, Carbon, Own the City or whatever, it's not gonna be the same game as the mainline one. But this one is very different and doesn't even have rally stages. I think the tracks are different too, but it has the vibe, and it's such a surreal experience playing it on a handheld in 2024, because at one point it was cutting edge. Like, it was the, I guess it was always a handheld, like the PS2 was out and that was like doing some more impressive graphical achievements than the PSP ever did, even though it ran PS1 games. But I guess when it came out it was cutting edge, and it was supported quite long into its life cycle. It had a long life cycle, but yeah, it's just such an interesting thing to behold in Year of Our Lord 2024, to just have Dirt 2 on the PlayStation Portable in your hand and just look at it. It's like, wow. But yeah, there's other stuff there too. There's Gran Turismo, obviously, PS1 and the PSP version. There's Toka Race Driver, which is the precursor for Grid Series, I think. 2 and 3, if I'm not mistaken. Sega Rally. What else? Ford and Land Rover Off-Road Racing. There's some other stuff. It's a cool little system. The Need for Speed stuff I mentioned. Shift, I think. Just mentioning racing games right now. It's interesting, but the little analog stick is so weird that other than Gran Turismo I haven't been able to use it. I was just using the D-pad instead. It was just more precise to like feather steer with the D-pad, because the stick is just so, you don't feel where it is, because it's almost like sliding left and right instead of tilting, and the snapping back is weaker, or the, maybe it's because it's very short, Like it's a super duper low profile analog stick. So it's really weird and I couldn't get used to it other than in Gran Turismo. In Gran Turismo it's great, but in any other game I haven't been really using it yet. But the system itself is very capable. I've been emulating Nintendo Game Boy Advance stuff on it, which was very fun. And even it's a shame that it cannot do DS, like because of it's more powerful than the DS. It's just for emulation you need such a ridiculous overhead that you cannot just emulate whatever is a bit newer, sadly. Toyota Tacoma, there you go. Let's do a couple more races, shall we?
Okay, keep it smooth and steady, just like the last race.
Okie dokie. Smooth and steady. There's a line in one of the Dirt games. I think Dirt 4. Smooth and steady. I'm Mr. Smooth and you're Mr. Steady. Let's go. That's what the co-driver says, and it's very weird the first time you hear it. But that's something I miss from the new EAWRC game, is the, I guess, contact, like little interactions between the driver and the co-driver. Like, I would expect such a AAA game to have a bit more of like more voice lines of the co-driver reacting to stuff, because I think he does basic stuff and I don't want this overdone, like, oh my god, what are you doing? Oh, you're crashing into a tree, ow, my head hurts. Like, that's not what I mean. It's just I think in Dirt 4 maybe, or Dirt Rally 1 or something, there was a bit more than, oh, that was a very good time. I think it's Dirt 4 where it's oh, I think we reached the podium, that's amazing, good driving. And there was like enough variety that made it a bit more special than what we got in the Dirt Rally series. And I was hoping for something like that. I was hoping for many things. I wasn't really hopeful, but yeah, it's been a major disappointment in many aspects other than handling, sadly, which is a bummer. But maybe the next one can redeem the series and Codemasters. Also, didn't they acquire Slightly Mad Studios? People who made Project Cars 1, 2, and 3. Though, like, 3 is a joke, obviously. I tried to play it, I have it, but I finished it, but it wasn't a pleasant ride. And I tried it recently and it's just like, why would you play that when you have other options? Is basically like, it's the off-brand Coke in the gas station, you know? Like, you would get Coke or Pepsi or something else. I don't think you would go for the off-brand Coke. And that's the what am I saying? Project Cars 3 in a nutshell. So But yeah, what happened to them? Did they just become absolved into Codemasters? Are they support studio now? Are they just making cars and assets and whatnot for EWRC? Like, I hope the next installment of the Grid series would see some stuff from Project Cars 2. That would be amazing, because Project Cars 2 was great, and I really like I think the only reason I like the Grid series is because of their city circuits. And I hate this stupid Nemesis system, but I really like how it's a very approachable arcade racing game. I don't know if it's a simcade or not. I don't know what counts as simcade. Like Forza Motorsport, the new one, that is simcade. I don't know. But I don't hate the Grid series. It's just other than Autosport, I haven't been impressed by them lately. And I just made 2 videos featuring Grid Legends. So, and it's impressive in some aspects, not so much in others. Like Legends is a fair game compared to 2019 Grid. That was a joke. That was a major disappointment, and just weird overall. It's just why so many interesting decisions, not in a good way, with that game. But yeah, like I would never recommend anyone play Grid 2019, but Legends, go for it if you want. It's a fine game. It's just, it could have been even better. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping that whatever's next for the Grid franchise will have some of that Slightly Mad Studios Project Cars 2 magic sprinkled onto it. But yeah, they released Grid Legends for the Oculus Meta Quest platform, and it looks and plays worse than you can imagine. Like, what you're looking at is more graphical fidelity than that game. Like, it's like strapping a Nintendo DS to your face. It's somehow worse than WRC Generations or whatever it was, WRC 7, I don't know, one of them on the Switch, which I thought was the game with the least amount of anti-aliasing and the most egregious I guess what's the word I'm looking for, downgrade. So I haven't bought it, but I watched some videos about it. It's I don't know, maybe I'll do it for a video, but it seems like you gotta be really desperate to buy Grid Legends for the Oculus or Meta Quest 2. Like, it has to be desperate times. God, does it look rough. And not just around the edge, the whole thing looks rough and blurry and I mean, I understand it's like the onboard graphics on the Quest lineup is not exactly I don't know where they compare to the Switch. I think they're similar. They just have to do 2 perspective for each eye, higher refresh rate and motion tracking. So it's not like they just put out a raster 2D 720 image to a handheld screen and done. They gotta do a lot more with that power, and I don't know if they're that close. It's just that's where my mind went. It's I think they shouldn't be like incredibly far from each other. I think they're both like mobile APUs, kind of. But yeah, and like it's not like the Quest 2 cannot do impressive graphics. Asgard's Wrath looks very cool. What I'm playing currently is Pistol Whip and Power Wash Simulator VR, and they look fine. It's just, I think it was either too ambitious of an idea to port Grid Legends directly to the headset, or they made the wrong decisions on what settings should be downgraded or turned off. I think if they went for like a cartoony art style, they could have, or like this what I'm doing right now, this outline thing, it looks amazing. If they did this for the Quest 2 version of Grid Legends, I think it would have been a hit, but at full price, it's not full price, I don't think it's 60, I don't know how much it is. You gotta be really desperate to play that shit, especially natively on the headset. Oof, it's tough sell. I might do it for a video, but not for personal enjoyment, that's for sure. Alrighty, let us do a couple more races. Then I gotta cook something. But I may return tonight later with some. We'll see. We'll see. It's bumper cars right now. Everyone is sliding. Oversteer City right here. I love how mumbly I am today. It is difficult when you're out of practice to talk for hours with and making sense constantly, while also trying to race and win races in a car that goes very fast. So practice makes perfect. But I'm very happy with this look. I'm very happy with this camera setup that I have going on. It's Sony a6000 again. Just different light, different settings, position, and I'm very happy with this. Oh my god, I'm very happy with this new microphone. And the mic arm. What I was using was some cheapo garbage that was barely able to hold my Rode NT-USB, and because I really didn't like the NT-USB's sound profile, I switched back to the Razer Siren Mini, which had a much nicer lower end, but the clarity was lacking. So now I have the microphone that everyone uses, the Shure. I mean, everyone uses the SM7B, but this MV7K is almost the same. Like, it sounds a little bit different, but they're essentially the same microphone under the hood for the most part. Alright, let's do this. Then I might stop and make some food.
me give you some advice.
Alrighty. I think this is exactly the setup I used in the video. It's in the description, the no graphics one. Subaru in Shibuya, though maybe it was the other Subaru. Because there's two of them even in the rally cars. The N13 and N12, I think. Different year. But yeah, really fun to drive like this. That's why I included grid as well, because I don't know, like compared to a dedicated race circuit, such as like Brands Hatch, there's so much more for me, who's not like a super sim racing enthusiast. I just like racing games. Looking at a city like this is so much more interesting to me visually than just a racetrack. Like I care more about this kind of stuff than the layout and the oh my god, it's the 3D scan thing, and oh my god, Max Verstappen did this this many years ago, and like I was never into that part of it. I just like racing, and I just like driving cars and looking at nice scenery and shit. So I really prefer these city circuits. That's why I always am hoping that the grid series will do well, because they're the ones doing it. Other than well, I guess in Pro Street we had some like closed off city circuits. I guess we have this, but that's the same developer as the Grid series, because they're both Codemasters. But yeah, we don't have that many. Like, we have a shit ton of mods for Assetto Corsa, but I'm more talking about like official stuff. I don't know, and I think it's a shame because they look so much more visually interesting than something like the Nürburgring, which is, you know, like asphalt and green. And wow, like, I understand it's a great circuit for layout and driving reasons, but visually it's not something I'm blown away by. So alright, I might hang up here, and God knows, I may return today. We'll see. Thank you very much everyone for hanging out. See you later. Watch the video in the description, and subscribe, and check back next time. Bye bye.